All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. We're tackling something today that I think is on a lot of people's minds,
Yeah.
and that is, working from home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's been kind of crazy to watch this whole thing, right? Remember back in
Yeah.
like the early pandemic days when
Early pandemic.
everybody was suddenly,
Hunched over their laptops on the couch.
yeah, just like, okay, I guess this is how we work now,
Right, right.
in our pajamas, let's be real.
Yeah, exactly.
But it seems like what started as like this temporary thing has
Exactly.
really evolved.
It has.
And, you've been looking into this.
I have.
You sent me some really interesting articles and research on the whole work from home trend.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious to see what you think, like where this whole thing is headed.
Well, it is fascinating, I think. We
Yeah.
see some companies, really pushing for everybody to get back to the office.
Right.
But then when you look at the data, it's like, it's telling a different story.
Okay.
So let's dive into some of those real trends that we're seeing and what they might mean
Yeah, let's unpack it.
for the future of work.
Okay, so one of the articles you sent me
Okay.
highlights this survey from Denmark.
Mm.
And get this, about 40% of people worked from home,
Yeah.
right? At least once, right? In the 4 weeks leading up to summer 2024.
Yeah.
And that is the same level as the peak of the pandemic.
Peak?
I mean, that's kind of wild, right?
It's amazing.
Like, what do you think is driving this? Is it just that,
Yeah.
employees are like, no, I like this, I want to keep doing this?
Right.
Or are companies starting to realize that there are actually some benefits to this?
I think it's probably a combination of all of those things.
Yeah.
I think on the employee side, people have now gotten a taste of this flexibility, right? Like this autonomy.
Yeah.
And they're kind of, I think, hesitant to give that up.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. No more commute.
Yeah, the commute is brutal.
More time with your family.
Yeah.
Being able to kind of structure your day in a way that works best for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty compelling.
It's a good deal.
Uh.
So, okay, employees love it.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the companies?
Yeah.
Because we do see some companies kind
Yeah.
of making a big deal out of like everybody back in the office.
Well, and it is interesting. You see these like big headlines
Yes.
about these companies that are really,
Like making a big show of it,
yeah, they're mandating that
Yeah.
everyone comes back.
Back to the office.
But the data is telling a different story.
Okay.
There was this survey from Germany's IFO Institute,
Okay.
and they found that 75%
Wow.
of the companies that let people work from home
Yeah.
plan to keep it that way.
So 3/4 of companies are like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is working. We're going to stick with this.
They're embracing it.
Okay. And only 4%,
Wow, so tiny.
a tiny, tiny fraction, want to get rid of it completely.
Wow. That's a pretty clear message then, huh?
It seems like it.
So it really does seem like
Yeah.
remote work is here to stay.
It's here to stay.
But what does that mean for the actual offices then?
That's a great question.
Like if
Yeah.
people aren't going into the office as much,
Right.
I mean, what are those spaces even going to look like?
Well, the article that you sent
Yeah.
mentioned that a lot of companies, especially in the U.S.,
Okay.
they're starting to change their office spaces
Interesting.
to really accommodate
Yeah.
this hybrid work model.
Okay.
So instead of just having, rows and rows
Yeah.
of desks,
Like the classic, yeah.
like the classic cubicle farms,
Yeah, exactly.
we're seeing a lot more open floor plans, these collaborative spaces,
So interesting.
flexible
There's
workstations.
hot desking and stuff.
Exactly, yeah. Hot desking, huddle rooms.
Designed for like team meetings.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like they're really putting thought into
Yeah.
creating environments that can support like both, right? Like
Yeah.
people coming in,
Yeah, both in person
but then also having people who are remote.
and remote. Exactly.
Okay, that's fast.
And this whole focus on these hybrid models,
Yeah.
I think it's going to continue.
Okay.
Nick Bloom, he's a Stanford professor,
Okay.
and he's a leading researcher in remote work.
Oh, wow.
And his prediction
Yeah.
is that this hybrid style of working, it's going to actually expand in the next 5 years.
So it's not going away.
It's not going away.
And it's not even just staying the same. It's going
It
to
didn't get bigger.
get bigger.
And his research suggests that companies,
Yeah.
they're really figuring out ways to make this hybrid work,
Mm-hmm.
sustainable and
Right.
beneficial, right?
Right.
For both the employees and the company's bottom line.
Okay, so it really seems like this isn't just a fad.
Yeah, it's not a fad. This is like
Like a fundamental shift.
a shift
Yeah.
in how we work.
Yeah. And how we work, how we think about work.
Yeah.
So it seems like, if I'm hearing you correctly, having the skills
Absolutely.
and the
Right where it's at.
mindset
Right.
to be able to thrive
Yeah.
in this kind of remote or hybrid environment,
Right.
that's going to be like essential going forward.
I think it's going to be crucial.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what does that even look like, though? Like,
Yeah, that's a good question.
what kind of skills?
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
You need really good communication skills,
Right.
like strong communication skills.
Okay.
You got to have self-discipline.
Yeah, because no one's like looking over your shoulder anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to like manage your time.
Oh, time management, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not in that traditional office setting.
when you don't have like the boss right there.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess all those like collaboration
Well,
tools
tools are key.
become super important,
Yeah,
right?
they become essential.
Like Slack, Zoom, all the project management software.
all of it.
Yeah, you got to be comfortable with all of that.
You got to be comfortable with that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's for the individual, right?
Right.
But what about, I guess, for the listener, like what does this all mean for them?
Well, I think
And how can they prepare for this?
it's about like being proactive,
Right.
like really sit down and think about what are those skills that I need to hone?
Right.
What are the opportunities out there that can help me develop those?
Yeah, take some ownership of it.
Take ownership. Yeah.
Okay.
Embrace the technology.
Yeah, don't be scared of it.
That helps facilitate remote work.
Yeah.
Become really comfortable with collaborating virtually. And this is a big one. Don't underestimate networking
Oh, interesting.
and building those relationships.
But how do you even do that when everybody's remote?
Well, even if it's happening online,
Yeah.
like those connections are still important.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're saying is the future of work is really all about,
It's about flexibility
Yeah.
and adaptability.
okay, so if you can like roll with the punches
Roll with the punches, yeah.
and develop these skills,
Yeah.
then you're going to be in good shape.
You're going to be in a good spot.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered a lot of ground today.
We did.
We went from the statistics, right?
Mhm.
Like the hard numbers showing that remote work is,
Yeah, how prevalent it is.
it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But then also, like, what does that actually look like?
Right, the practical stuff.
Yeah, in practice for
Yeah.
companies, for employees.
Yeah.
So I think one thing is clear.
Yeah.
Remote work is here.
It's here to stay.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's really changing
It's changing everything.
the way we work.
Yeah. And it's going to be really interesting to watch as
yeah.
it continues to evolve.
Yeah.
Like, how will it impact, even things like urban planning
Oh, that's interesting.
or social lives?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So, like, if people aren't commuting as much,
Yeah.
what does that mean for cities?
Well, yeah. What happens to the city?
And how do we stay connected
Yeah.
if everybody's working remotely?
Right. Where's that social interaction going to come from?
There's a lot to think about.
Yeah. A lot to consider.
As we move toward this, like,
This flexible future.
flexible future of work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for diving deep with me today.
Always a pleasure.
And for everybody listening,
Yeah.
keep those questions coming.
And keep thinking about it.
Yeah. We'll see you next time
See you next time.
on the deep dive.
Bye.
Bye.